All right, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. Another episode of You Asked, I'm going to answer. Or you commented, I'm going to comment on your comment because it's ridiculous. Let's go. Okay, this one is coming from Ross Clarkson, HKSC. I've been behind a camera for 40 years. Nobody cares. I added that part. I don't think about a shot. I feel a shot and just do what I feel. Okay, we're just going to, this statement, this is the reason that I have been doing the podcast for 12 years and why I do the stuff on YouTube now. This is the whole reason. Like the attitude like this, you couldn't be less helpful if you tried. This is a comment that if someone asked me, like, oh, how did you get that shot? Whatever, in the last setup, how'd you do that? How did you think about that shot? If I really, really dislike the person, this is how I would answer. If I wanted them to not get better and not improve their life and not improve their knowledge, this is exactly what I would say. It's hot garbage, right? Imagine you being really good at something and you're just like, yeah, like I didn't study for 30 years, any of this stuff. I just sort of feel it. Like if you can't feel it, you probably don't have it. Like, wait a second, it's just like math, right? It's just 1 + 1. You just figure out the formula, you apply the formula and it works. And you're like, yeah, that is true, but I also feel it. Like, what are you feeling? And then when you get that feeling, how are you applying tools in the real world to bring that feeling to life? Like this is just, it's a nonsense statement. And that's followed up by an even better comment here. And this is a response to Ross, and this is from Grant Sutton here. The words of a real cinematographer. Don't you grow tired of the endless technical dribble people that take technically perfect shots that are lifeless? I like one of the great DPs when he said, you should be able to turn the sound off and know what the movie is saying. Telling the story via a lens is a gift. What are you saying? Just word salad. This is nonsense. This is nonsense, right? This is what used to happen in the 90s and in the early 2000s when you could only hear from a cinematographer like one sentence out of every Vanity Fair article that came out about, Star Wars or name another famous movie that was shot at the time. Like, finally, let's talk to the cinematographer. It's got such an interesting look. And you would answer like, wow, I just sort of feel it. I'll keep the 50 years of closely guarded secrets to myself because I don't want other people working because there's only so many jobs to go around. I don't want to just give away the information that would allow any Tom, Dick, or Harry to do this stuff because I'm important. That's how I make my buckets and buckets of cash, right? It's like if I tell you that it's super easy and I show you this is how easy it is, you just apply a formula. You're like, that's probably not good for my future prospects if I work in a market with you, because then you're going to figure it out too. You're going to figure out, wait a second, this is all nonsense. This is all things people just say to justify a position. Right? It seems crazy. All right, and now a quick word from the sponsor of today's video. Yes, the sponsor, and that is audio. You know what you need? Good audio. Why? Because my guess is your images are going to be average. Okay, and if you've got average images, you know what really raises the bar on your projects? Masks over your averageness. That's great music. And you can get that at audio. Not only that, if you're anything like me and you work in production as opposed to post-production, you probably don't like sitting around all day long at your computer staring at a screen trying to find just the right track. Well, Audio have an amazing mobile app. You can be on the go trying to find all of those things in any environment that you so desire, right? On the train, at the gym, in the forest, in the river, probably not underwater because that would be bad for your phone, but anywhere you can be on a mobile app, you can find fantastic music at Audio. If you are interested, check the link in the description below. They've got great music. They've got great elements. They've got great stems. They've got all of those things that will make your average projects seem just a little bit better. And if your projects seem just a little bit better, guess what you might get? More work. And what does that mean for you? Your life is better. So make your life better. Use Audio. And I did it again. I forgot to mention that if you use the link in the description below and at checkout use the code WanderingDP, you can get your entire first year of audio for just $59, which is 70% off. And I'm no math whiz, right? That's why I'm into cinematography, but that's almost half, right? 70%. Pretty good. Okay, back to the video. It's like, well, if you're not making Ben-Hur or Braveheart or whatever it is, the movie that, is going to change the world, chances are you're doing commercials or you're doing a industrial video or some corporate video. Nobody cares about those things. If they look nice though, you get more work. Okay. So don't believe the Vanity Fair fluff of, I just feel the shot. Feel the shot helps zero. You don't just feel the shot. Maybe you just feel the shot after you internalize years and years and years of honing your judgment and understanding that there are patterns to this. And just like you can think about, cinematography is exactly like something like chess, right? Every single job, you're going to have a new series of data inputs. You're going to have a new series of questions that you have to answer yes or no to. They are binary responses. The sum of those binary responses, of the yeses and the nos to those questions, that is the final output. And guess what? When you work enough or when you watch enough of other people's things, you'll start to recognize patterns of these responses, patterns of these yeses or patterns of these nos. Do you want fill? No. Do you want hard light? Yes. Those things, you can actually group the final outputs and you can start to see, okay, this particular set of responses, if we think of yeses and nos as zeros and ones, this 001, 1001, that dictates this exact output. Now I put that in my Rolodex. Now I have that up my sleeve. If somebody wants dark, moody sunset, I know the exact response of yes, no questions that I'm going to have to facilitate to the rest of the crew, to the production, to the equipment. All of those things are already done for me because I recognize the pattern. It's not that I'm feeling it. Now, if I'm on set and I have a huge Rolodex that I can pull from, well, that makes me significantly more valuable to the team around me. Because now I don't have to be locked in to doing things a very specific way because I have 100 other arrows in the quiver that I can be like, oh, let's quickly adjust. Well, if you're new, be like, quickly adjust. It took me, 4 weeks to come up with that lighting plan, and now I don't really know what to do now that we're going to look the other way. But it's like, once you have enough of those patterns already built up, you're like, oh, I used the pattern. You're like, no, I used the pattern because I was feeling it. And nobody cares. Dude, come on. We're not making movies here. We're making commercials. Nobody cares about your feelings. Nobody cares about why you did it. Everybody cares that you got it on time and it looks better than anyone else on set could make it look. Ta-da, you've done your job, right? Don't buy the Vanity Fair fluff stuff. This is just nonsense. It's like gatekeeping, which is completely gone. I would say now on YouTube, there's so many people that are sharing things that will make you a better cinematographer. That was just not available 10 or 15 years ago. Now, there is no excuse. If you are dog shit at cinematography, it's 100% on you. It's not lack of access to knowledge, which is absolutely the case before. Because it used to be, again, in 2000, that you would say, I just kind of feel the shots. And then they would print that in Entertainment Weekly. And you'd be like, that's how you do cinematography. You just sort of feel it. Sorry. And then you'd go to your beach house, and you just laugh the whole way going, they're never gonna know that it's just like a combination of 4 ratios and the rest is pretty easy. Okay, that's going to do it for this one. Many thanks. We'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.